Hi, this is my first video. I'm pretty excited to start the Creative Juice with Lonnie stamping series. So today I'm going to show you this fun little card that is a gatefold card using the Label Framelits for the Big Shot. And here's how it opens. So let me show you a little bit before we get started. First of all, you may already have your framelits stored in a box like this. This is one of our clear stamp cases that you can buy separately from Stampin' Up. And you just put a few pieces or strips of magnets in here. You can use your sticky strip to adhere them if they're not already self-adhesive. And that way your framelits stick right to them. If you have a stamp set that has a matching framelit set with it, then you can put them together so that they're easy to find. So today we're going to start with a 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock for our card. Fold it in half quickly. Then using the largest of the framelits, we're going to cut this out on the Big Shot. The easiest way to do this is to open up your card and lay it flat on the Big Shot. Use your framelit, and I would put it about so that there's about 1/2 inch here on this one end, and this large framelit just about cuts this card perfectly on the one side. Now we only want to cut off this half. We don't want to cut off everything, so we're just going to lay our cutting plate right there on the half mark, right where we want it to cut. And we'll send that through the Big Shot. Okay, cut it. And what you have here is now just the edge that you wanted. Now it doesn't quite fit. I mean, if it doesn't quite fit, just go ahead and grip that off so you've got that little edge. Okay, for the top piece, or the liner, we're going to use a 3 3/4 by 4 3/4 piece of Designer Series paper, and using the next largest framelit, which is this one, we're going to do the same thing on the Big Shot, on using tab 2 fell off, tab 2, and your cutting plate. This is, whoops, let's turn it over so that it will actually cut. Let's do it this way. And we're going to cut off most of that. And again, we only want it to be halfway. So, pardon me, I'm grabbing a sticky strip, Post-it note. This is another great way to hold things right in place as you're cutting them. Just use a sticky note or a Post-it note. And again, we only want to cut half of that. So I'm just going to lay my cutting plate, the top cutting plate, only over half of that. No, keep rolling. Okay, so when we take this off, again you have just the piece that you wanted cut. Now we can adhere that. Actually, we don't want to adhere it, but I'll show you where it's going to go. And if you have a little extra on the end, we can just trim this down. But before you adhere that, we're going to want to put a brad through that, because it's going to be part of our closing mechanism. So you can hold this where you would like it, flip it over, and then you can kind of just cut along the edge of your card the excess piece. We're going to put that aside for just a moment before we adhere that onto our card, and take the inside part of the piece of the card, which is an 8 inch by 4 inch piece of cardstock. There you go. Oh, sorry, 8 inch. It's a good thing I measured that. I'm like, that doesn't look quite right. 8 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of very vanilla cardstock in this case. And fold that in half. This is where the Big Shot gets a little tricky, but we're going to show you how to do this. Now we're going to use the 3rd smallest framelit and the Big Shot again. This time, you're going to use tab 2 still and your bottom cutting plate. Open your card and place the framelit so that these first little bumps line up with your score line. And again, we don't want to cut the whole thing, we just want to cut part of it. It doesn't really matter where you put your sticky note, but maybe in order to see that, I'll put it over here for us, okay? So you can see that. And there's your scoring line. So put the top of your cutting plate right there right to the scoring line. And then send that through the big shot. This time, when you're done, you've cut that piece of the card, just like that. Let me move this so you can see it. Okay, so you have the framelit, which is right here in part of your card. You just want to use your scissors and cut along the scoring line, just to the edge of that framelit. Oh. This is when I need my glasses. And if it's just a little bit screw-wampus, you can straighten it up. Okay, there we go. So there is our little folding mechanism that goes on the inside of our card like this. So you lay that on the inside. We can now adhere this with the little flap on, that would be, let me turn it to your side, the right side. And that way, when you fold it over, you have that little mechanism like this. Okay, so let's finish up this card. I've already cut out a framelit image. This is the second smallest out of Pool Party. And we're going to stamp our greeting. This time we're going to use the Oh Hello from the stamp set. Oh Hello. And what is this one? Calypso Coral is what we're stamping in. Okay, we had a little glitch there, sorry, but this is your finished, you've stamped this, and I've just trimmed off the edge here. Now, what we want to do is to add our brads to both this piece and this piece. So if you take it and place it here on your, kind of where you want it. Oops. Then you can make a mark with a pencil. That's what I did here. And just use move these aside, sorry, a paper piercer and poke a hole in both of those places where you've marked. Then I've used a large rhinestone brad, and we'll put that through the larger piece of Designer Series paper, and this Designer Series paper came from T for 2. And we'll just add some snail adhesive and adhere that to the front of our card. Okay, beautiful. And then this one I cut off the edge because when I placed it on here, it was just a little bit large for that, so I wanted it to just have that one edge. Oh, and let's put the brad in. I've used a small rhinestone brad for that one. And some more adhesive. I put some on and then my camera stopped videotaping, so we're just backing up a bit to catch you up here to where we're at. Okay, so there's our basic card ready to go. And we want to add just a little embellishment here, so let's take our, let's do this one, the 1 1/4 inch scallop circle punch. I've punched out 3 little circles, and I've punched a hole using my tool, my paper piercing tool, and I couldn't find my paper piercing mat this morning. I think I know where it is, but I didn't want to go get it, so I just used a big die, which is great for a mat once in a while. And I've taken a Pool Party brad. We'll put that through the little hole, and your flowers don't have to line up, so don't worry about that. Then just use some water and get it nice and wet, your top layer nice and wet. You may have to pull it all together towards the center and spray it again and get the next layer wet. And I just had 3 little saffron scallop circles that I'm using for my flower, and then spray the last one. Get it all nice. It's really nice and wet, makes it perfect, because you're just going to break down some of the fibers in this cardstock. Squish it all to the center and you've got yourself a really cute little flower. Now I've already got one that's dried, so we'll put that on the front of our card with a Stampin' Dimensional. My fingers are still a little wet. Oh, so cute. Then just take a little bit of ribbon. I believe this is also Calypso Coral. And actually, it's not ribbon, this is baker's twine. I apologize. So you take that. I just tie a knot or just tie a little tiny piece in one end, put it around one of the brads, and tie it tight. Tie a knot in it. You don't even have to tie a knot really, but we'll just make sure it doesn't come off. Okay, then you can cut that off if you don't want it to have little strings. You just want to make sure that it's tied to your brad. And then you can just take as much twine as you want and wind that around to secure your card. And there you have the finished project. Now, when you open the card, it's very simple. Just untie the twine. There's your card. You can put your sentiment in it. Let me show you a couple of other samples using this same idea. This one is using our cupcake punch. And instead of using the brads to adhere it, I used just a little bit of the two-way glue and put some right here, and then closed it so I could see where it would match, and then some right here. Let it dry and it becomes like a post-it note, so that helps to keep it closed as well. So that's our two-way glue. This is also great for adhering the glitter onto our little cupcake here. So there's another way, and this is Keep Calm and Eat a Cupcake. Since it's Cupcake Week on my Facebook page, which is Creative Juice by Lonnie. Then this one is our Happy Birthday version, and this time I've hidden the brad under the little medallion or the ribbon, and then here's the other brad there, so then you can open that up and have a happy birthday card. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.